Talks. So we're live now, Kevin, and well, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Wonderful. Enjoying a beautiful day here in Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I'm in London and enjoying a usual London
weather.
winter's afternoon. But yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you about
Where'd you go? You froze up, Simon. Where'd you go? Are you back with me? I can't see you or hear you. I don't know if it's on your side or my side.
Kevin.
There you are. All right.
We seem to have problems with our internet connection. That could well be my side of things. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. We are much better now. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's start again then. Essentially, we're going to have a chat about entrepreneurial mindset, entrepreneurial spirit to do with entrepreneurs. Now, you teach entrepreneurship at a university in Texas. You're an assistant professor teaching entrepreneurship in general, and I understand that the mindset part is really important to you. It's something you're very passionate about teaching.
One of the biggest problems I find with when you tell people you teach entrepreneurship and all the rest of the stuff, the immediate thought is to go to you teach people how to start a business. And that's not the mindset. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to start a business. Entrepreneurial mindset is the ability to identify problems, come up with solutions, and go through the process of, is this viable? What's the return on investment? And how do I turn this solution into something executable that may warrant a new business? It may also, most of the time, just warrant a process improvement for that business. So a young person looking at the entrepreneurial mindset, the employable skill is your ability to find problems and solve them, whether you're doing it for yourself in your own business or whether you're working for someone and being a problem solver. That's a very employable skill, but it's a unique ability to see something that most people just walk by every day.
So this problem solving is a mindset. It's entrepreneurs having the mindset of being a problem solver, not being a business builder. Is that
Right.
Is that part of it?
Yeah, I've met a lot of people that have started a business, grown a business, and they keep working their business, and that's fine. But in my opinion, a true entrepreneur is going to start something, build it with the view to selling it, getting out and moving on and doing something else, because the excitement to a true entrepreneur is not the 50-year-old journey of running a business. It's I found a problem, I came up with something, some solution that was exciting, we implemented it, now the fun's gone. It's now a job. I don't want a job. I want to go and solve another problem. So it's the catch-22.
I get that completely, Kevin. I mean, you've really, in a nutshell, you defined my career, where when I started my first business, I went on with my business partner to run it and to grow it for a while, but I really didn't like the growth part of it. The lots of people, having to manage people, HR, and I eventually said to my business partner, I'm really not enjoying this. I'm going to start something else. And I did learn when I started the next thing that as soon as, well, it was a couple down the line, as soon as one started to be successful again, or at least to grow, I thought, I'm out of here. This isn't for me.
Entrepreneurs, I think, are inherently fidgety. We take on too much because we think we can solve all the problems. We don't really understand how to say no, because no means I don't have a solution, and that's not true. I have a solution. You may not want to hear it, but that's the frustration. The enjoyment is you find things and you see things that so many people don't see. I'll drive down the road and I'll say to my wife, look at that business. It's got a going out of business sign. And she was like, okay. I'm saying, I wonder why it's going out of business. What would succeed there? I wonder why. I wonder if we talk to them, maybe it's just something internal. Maybe it's someone died. And her mind is, it's a business going out of business. Who cares?
So it's your curiosity that is the entrepreneurial mindset there. It's curiosity as much as anything.
One of my favorite videos to share with my students is from the Ted Lasso series, when he's playing darts. And it all comes down to, I tell my students, I want you to take, if nothing else from this class, learn to be curious, question everything. Why is it that way? When I do my study abroad trips, I take my students from Texas and I put them in Scotland or in Athens or in downtown London. And I say to them, now look at this culture, this society. How are they solving problems? Look at the businesses they do. Look at the way they do the businesses. Simple things like, look at the way they repair the road. In Texas, if you're digging a hole, you've shut down half the road, you put barriers up because we have all these regulations.
Yeah. You
go to Athens and they're fixing a manhole. There's a guy standing there, and if you drive down the road, you're going to run him over. It's a regulation thing. So it's a different society. Yeah. So I tell the students, look at what they're doing, and then ask yourself the question: would that work in Texas? If it does, what can we do with it? If it won't, why not? What is the difference?
That's really interesting that your students, by understanding different cultures and going to different places and seeing with their own eyes some of the problems that are existing, then having the mindset to go, can I bring that sort of solution back to Texas? Is there a problem similar where I live that people haven't tried to sort out?
I think it's the opportunity to put them into an unrestricted thought process.
Yeah.
When we went to Athens, I took 6 students to Athens last year, May. We met with a guy, an organization arranged for us to meet with a client that there was 4 guys that drove taxis, and my students, through a translator, had 4 days to interview the client, determine what their problem was, come up with a solution, and propose the solution. That client had a mentor that was going to work with them. So what we proposed, they would have someone that would guide them and keep them on track. But my students had to figure out, what is the real problem?
Yeah.
They wanted the client said, we want an app. We want to be able to get away from using Uber and those, because they take too much of our money. We want to be able to work less and take time for vacation, but our business mustn't shut down. How do we fix this?
Yes. Yeah.
And we distilled it all the way down, and the students eventually proposed using Linktree with a QR code on the back of the headrest, so that they can keep the client's attention in the car while they're in the ride. They can scan the Linktree, meet the driver. He has a recommended restaurant. He has different things. Keep their attention in the car, instead of the person just getting in the car, playing on the internet, on their phone, on social media. They're going to do it anyway. Give them something to do. And that kept them there. Now they can say, let's bring in a new driver, because we're getting more referrals from our Linktree, not through the app.
That's really creative.
But they came up with that over 4 days with a language barrier.
Yeah.
So we met with a client, and then in the afternoons and the evenings, we'd walk around the streets of Athens and talk. And that was our brainstorming time. And we would have, our code was, anybody want to go for ice cream? Yes, let's go for ice cream. We'd walk around Athens, get ice cream, and walk around and talk to the locals. Then after we did that, we went to one of the Greek islands, and we stayed at an Airbnb. And the students were saying, that Airbnb sounds like a really good business. What would it take to buy a place here and run an Airbnb? Let's look at that. We went and looked at houses. We talked to a real estate agent. But this was their unlimited creative thinking that was opened up. The possibility thinking was opened up, because nobody was saying, that's unrealistic. You can't do that.
No, it's the entrepreneurial mindset. It's properly the entrepreneurial mindset there. You're not forcing them to find problems to solve. You're putting them in an environment to make them aware, and they're identifying things that could be done better or could be done differently.
Right.
Kevin, I've got a few questions prepared for you, but I've just noticed that in the audience we've got a question I'll put up straight away, rather than ones I've prepared a bit earlier. So this particular LinkedIn user asks, is there a name for someone who wants to build out business or program idea and then pass it off or sell it to others to fund or operate going forward?
I think that's an entrepreneur. I think someone who wants to build a business and keep it is a business owner. An entrepreneur is the one that the question is exactly what we're talking about. That is an entrepreneurial thinking. I want to start something. I want to build something. I want to fix something. And then I'm done with that. The excitement's over. Yeah. I'm going to move on to someone else.
I agree with you. I mean, that's not somebody who wants to be a long-term business owner and manager of a business. That's the entrepreneur, right. And I completely agree. Yeah. I've got another question to come in from the audience. So this one, a little bit longer one. I'll read it out. I'm in the process of establishing my personal brand and would like to seek your advice. Based on your experience, would you recommend leveraging available online resources to independently learn web design and social media marketing to minimize costs? Or would it be more effective to hire a specialist, a freelancer as such? What's your thoughts there, Kevin?
Building your brand, nothing builds your brand better than meeting people face to face so you can tell them about your brand. I get messages from people all over the place. oh, do you want to buy this? Do you want us to develop your website and all the rest? You're shooting against the barn, throwing mud, hoping something's going to stick. That's not building your brand. That's building frustration.
Yes.
It's far more effective to build your brand one positive contact at a time. Reach out to someone, tell them how you are different, but first of all, ask them, what are your struggles? Simon, you run a business. What are the challenges you face today?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can help you. I don't know if anything I can do will help your brand, but I need to, and what I teach my students is seek first to understand. Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits, talks about, I think it's a 5th habit, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Too many people say, I want to build my brand. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Simon Sinek talks about begin with why. You got to know the why, what the problem is.
I mean, I very much, I'm of the ilk, and we are 12 Ronnies, that you don't build things to start with. Because you're building, if you're naming your idea or your business, you're building a brand, you don't have any customers in mind. You don't build a product straight away. You find out what customers want, what your segment wants, what they're willing to pay to solve. So it's very much on the lines you've said, Kevin. Kevin, I've got a couple of questions of my own because we're fairly short on time. So I've got some other comments, but I want to come to this question, which I'll put up on our screen. 1 second. So, how do successful entrepreneurs reframe failure, and why is resilience so critical a component of the entrepreneurial mindset? Because that's one of the things that gets asked an awful lot.
I think entrepreneurs frame failure as trial and error. I'm going to try something. It failed. Great. I found a way that doesn't work. On to the next one. What I ask my students is the number one cause of divorce is marriage. So should we never get married if we don't want to fail at marriage?
Yeah.
No, we just found a relationship that didn't work. It doesn't mean the next one won't. That's why people get remarried, because they try again. That is the resilience of our relationships. But so many people have this mindset that if someone says no to me, oh my gosh, you've rejected me. No, I don't have enough information to say yes. It doesn't mean I will ever say yes, but it doesn't mean it's no forever. And they take it as too finite. It's, oh, I failed. You just haven't found a way that works.
And Kevin, just to back that up in terms of my personal experience, I very much see entrepreneurship as a scientific approach of experiments, of testing a hypothesis, and if it doesn't work, then it's just a failed experiment to get you closer and closer, not a, oh my God, I'm a terrible entrepreneur, or this was a terrible idea. It was, this is going to get me closer to something. So that's that part.
One of the classes I taught years ago was in the IT world. Previous life, I had some experience there, but in the IT world, I was teaching action research, and entrepreneurial thinking and entrepreneurial journey is action research. I do something and it didn't work. I tweak and I do it again. I tweak and I do it again. It may work, but is it the best? And eventually I'll come to the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And just backing that up, Niels, who's just made a comment in the section. Niels works very closely with founder beliefs and entrepreneurial mindset at 12 Ronnies, and has a community on there which I'll post at the end of this session. But again, just data points, all points to learn from on the path to mastery. I've got a few more questions to try and get through, Kevin, and one of them's about vision. So what role does having a clear vision play in maintaining momentum through tough times? Because there's going to be tough times, because some of your experiments aren't going to work. And how can entrepreneurs stay motivated when things don't go as planned?
I mentioned earlier Simon Sinek's begin with the end and begin with why. Your vision is your why. Why do you do this? Why do you get out of bed? And it's not a paycheck. It's got to be greater than that. It's what stirs you, what gets you excited. I tell my students, your passion must give you goosebumps. It's an involuntary physiological reaction. You can't get goosebumps when you're not excited about something. So your vision must be clear to you. Then the motivation isn't, I don't like the word motivation. You commit and you become disciplined in your journey to achieve your vision. Your vision will always be out there. You work at it for 30 years, you never reach it. Your vision changes. It's like climbing a mountain. When you're at the bottom, you see the top, but you're climbing, and it seems like it doesn't matter how many crests I go over, there's always another hill. You're climbing that journey. So your vision must be clear to you. What are you doing, and why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself through this cruel and unusual punishment of being an entrepreneur? Because I want to dictate my own life. I want to pursue my own dreams. But what keeps me moving? It's the discipline to continue to grow, continue to educate yourself, continue to improve yourself. If it didn't work, was it something I lacked? And if it is, how am I changing that? Go and read another book, learn from someone, speak to someone. It's not, it didn't work, so I'm going to take exactly the same thing and try it again. Well, that's insanity.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Why didn't it work? And I think that's the hard part of the failure part, is people don't have the vision. When they fail, it's they didn't accept me, so obviously it doesn't work. Let me try. It doesn't work. But it's not the try again. And when they do try again, they try again exactly the same way without tweaking their effort.
And expecting the same result.
Go in the same direction. Yeah. Exactly. You've got to, it's that self-reflection. That's the discipline that keeps you motivated.
Well, this is very much the point now, putting up this question, because I'm sure you see with students, I certainly see when I'm teaching entrepreneurship, that many founders have self-doubt in there. But when they're new to entrepreneurship, they're new to trying to make ideas work and found businesses, and feel that they're really, they're suffering from imposter syndrome. How do you, when somebody you feel is suffering from self-doubt or imposter syndrome, how do you address that?
The first thing I always say to them is, why are you doing this? If I go to you and say, don't worry, Simon, you just keep trying, I believe in you. Well, you don't believe in you. So nothing I say is going to change that. What I have to do is say, tell me about your why. Tell me why you get out of bed and do this every day. What's motivating you? What's driving you? What's your vision? Let's bring you back to that. And then you'll have a lot more self-confidence, because you're doing something based on what is important to you. What's important to me means nothing to you. You may say, oh, that's nice. That's wonderful. I'm glad for you. But it's not yours. And if you're doing something because mom and dad said you should, or somebody said you should go into this business or something like that, if it's not you, don't.
Yeah. No, I completely
You have to
agree.
look at yourself first. And if you're struggling with self-doubt, it's because you're doubting your reason.
Yeah.
Go back to your reason. Once your reason's clear,
why.
you can keep moving.
I've seen that very much, that people have to go back to their basics. And following on from that, are there any practical steps that founders, that new entrepreneurs can do to strengthen their self-belief? Because there is a lot of perceived failure in starting a business.
So it sounds kind of hokey and all the rest, but make sure your vision and your why is clear to you. Angie and I raised 7 kids. That's my why. I want to spend time with my kids. I don't want to get to 80 years old and say, I wish I had. I want to spend time with them. I want to talk to them. And I do what I do so I can create more time to spend with my kids. If you're trying to find, how do I strengthen my self-belief? Go back to your why. Go back to, why am I doing this? Why is it important that I do this? There's plenty of ways to do it, but if you can't articulate your why is going to be unique to you. It's going to be based on what's happened in your life, what you want from your life, what you don't want from your life. All of those things is unique to you. So me telling you this is how you're going to fix your self-belief, it's not going to help you. What's going to help you is go back to why I'm doing this. It's never about money. It's always about providing for yourself, this pursuit of happiness. How do I seek happiness? Being able to provide for my family gives me happiness. So that's my motivation. That's my why. Everything must come back to that.
So it's so in other terms as well, it's finding that North Star, and it's the why you want to get to go in that direction, and the rest is just part of the journey. It's sometimes you get closer.
Your reference to the North Star. Your reference to the North Star just makes me think of something that's so good. When you're looking at that North Star, it's in the sky. You know it. It's fact. It's there. On a cloudy night, you may lose sight of your North Star, but you know it's there. And when the clouds pass, it'll be there. Your belief in your vision and in your self-belief must be that strong that I know these tough times will come to pass. The clouds will pass and my North Star will still be there. My why will still be there. The tough times, they'll pass. So that's the resolute belief in your North Star, in your vision, in your passion. I believe it'll be there through thick and thin, even when there's tough times. The clouds will pass and it'll be there.
Kevin, that's really good. That's really good advice, and that dovetails into my experience anyway of being involved in doing startups for, well, nearly 40 years now. We're very much at the end of our time, Kevin, to be discussing this, although I'd love you to come back on some of our live streams in future.
Definitely. I've enjoyed it.
If people want to contact you, let me just put up show. Let me hide
LinkedIn,
this.
You can also
is LinkedIn the best place
email.
to contact you, Kevin? Just to
a lot of people reach me through LinkedIn. My company's website is philipsonconsulting.com.
Right.
And
okay. I'll put that in the comments then. I'll pin that to the top of the comments. And then the other part I wanted to mention just before we finish is that we also have a community on 12 Ronnies, on our founders and mentors community, that focuses on their subject, that's actually managed by Niels, who put up a question earlier. called Founder Beliefs, and you're welcome to come to go to the 12 Ronnies website, join our community, and find Founder Beliefs, and that's where we have a lot more discussions on this subject of entrepreneurial mindset and founder beliefs. But Kevin, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate
Thank you, Simon. It's been wonderful.
Take care.